Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast. This is a podcast called ThirdEyeCyphs. I am your host, Natalia. Always feels weird to say my name. Natalia! Yes, this is a podcast and I am your host, and this is a podcast where we talk about, first and foremost, self-realization. Realizing that there may not actually be a self? Or is there? And is it the self that we think it is? And is it one with all the other selves? Or is there multiple selves? Or is there only one self? Are we all part of the same self? Who knows? We also talk about topics on personal development, spiritual growth, esoteric knowledge, conspiracy theories, law of attraction, manifestation, becoming our greatest versions, anything and everything spiritual in and out of this world, and a bunch of other stuff to realize your truest potential, your truest nature, which is the divinity that is the underlying fundamental piece that brings together this reality. Other things we talk about, like the topics we will be talking about today, is current events that pertain to our personal development and the development of consciousness, collective consciousness, humanity in general. And that's what we're gonna be going over today, guys. I have a lot to go over. If you listen to this podcast regularly, for the past couple of weeks, I've been throwing in pieces of what we will be talking about mainly in this episode. And it's because it's very important, and this is why I keep adding it into other episodes, but I think that there needs to be a full episode on this because I really need you people to understand this, okay? I need you to understand what is happening right now and where our part plays in it and what we need to do for ourselves and for each other and for the future of humanity. So that is what we're going to be going over today. So with that being said, this is a podcast.
ThirdEyeCyphs. ThirdEyeCyphs.
That is right. We are back. We are back with the podcast. Welcome. Welcome to this podcast. I have a cool background mix on. This is called Experimental Ambient Mix 04. I found it on YouTube. If it gets a little weird, well, I mean, it's already weird, but if it gets like crazy where I'm just like, okay, what the hell is this? Then we will change it. But there's a few mixes I see being suggested to us, so we'll see how that goes. Either way, hello, welcome back. How are you? How are you? Ask yourself, how am I? How am I doing in my life right now? Despite everything around you, how are you feeling on the inside right now? Check in with yourself right now, real quick. How do you feel? How does your body feel? Do you feel stiff? Do you feel tired? Do you feel weak? Do you feel strong? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel abundant? How is your mental health? How is your spiritual health? How is your... I was gonna say psychological, but that's also mental. No, I wanted to say something around like, I keep trying to use the word communal, that's not right, but I don't know if that's right in this case. How is your health when it comes to conversing with other people? That's the best way I could put it. How is your social health? Okay, yes, social health. That's where I was going with that. Okay, well, I hope it's good. I hope it's well. Also, if you listen to this podcast and you always hear like, that's my bracelets, and I practically never take them off, so you may hear them like move around a bit throughout the podcast if you were ever wondering what that was, because I'm practically always wearing them every time we do this podcast episode. I mean, not this episode, oh my gosh, this podcast in general, guys, come on, you're with me. if you're new to this podcast, welcome. I hope I don't turn you off by this episode. No, it's not like that, okay? I'm not a freaking, okay, well, I try not to be opinionated. And this isn't a matter of opinion, guys. I'm not gonna be throwing facts at you. Well, okay, maybe I will be, but it's not, this isn't my, okay, well, it's my perspective on what I see happening. But, yeah, let's just go with that, and then you can kind of grab your own thing from there. And this isn't to convince you of anything or to make you choose sides. There are no sides, okay? There's no sides in this. It's just like, I need you to see at least what I'm seeing, and then if you're seeing the same thing, then that's great. And we need to do something about it. So I'm just gonna go right into the episode. Also, sorry for the late upload. I usually have these episodes up early in the morning, but I had an early work meeting and I just had no time to do this. So I'm on break right now, actually, and I'm trying to get this done so we can get it out for you. So this is season 4, episode 9, The Current Revolution. And I might call it The Current Revolution and Human Rights, or just maybe The Current Revolution. Let's see where that goes and flows. So, The Current Revolution. What is it? What do you mean, The Current Revolution? What are you talking about, Natalia? What have you been ranting about very vaguely in the past few weeks? Well, dear listener, I will tell you what I've been going on and on about. And it is the beginning and the building and the implementation of what people like to call the New World Order. And you may say this has been happening for years, and I can say that I agree with you. But it was happening at a very slow pace, not slow pace, but consistent pace, where some people were picking up on it, but it's not blatantly obvious. Now it's gotten to the point where it's blatantly obvious, and I need to say something about it, okay? Because I need people to see that it is blatantly obvious for the people who don't, because a lot of people don't see. Like, if you listen to this regularly, and if you resonate with my words and you resonate with me and my posts, then you see this already. You see it. You see that it's blatant, you see it's obvious, and you see that there is a problem. A lot of people do not. A lot of people think that, oh, some things are here and there, but it's not part of some big grand scheme. And that could not be the most, I don't want to say it's right or wrong, but naive perspective. Just because you need to step back from the little things and look at the overall picture and to see what's actually happening. And, okay, so with that being said, yes, it is the implementation of what, I want to abbreviate that if you heard what I said initially, just because I don't want certain triggers to bring people in. I already said it once. If they're not already here, what up? Stop killing us. I was going to say something crazy. Stop killing us. No, it's not like me saying this. They're going to be like, oh, okay, she says stop killing us. Well, stop it. No. What I want to say is that we see you, and a lot of people see you too, and it's not gonna work, okay? And you might say, look how much power I have over you. You're gonna tell me it's not gonna work? It's not me, okay? It's not like I'm personally fighting you. Yes, I'm gonna be a part of it, but so are millions of other people, and it's just not gonna work. Whatever's not meant to flow with nature will not work. It's 222 right now. Come on, guys, we're aligned, all right? It's 222, and it's not gonna work, okay? God is telling you right now that it's not gonna work. Whatever is not in flow with Tao will not work. God will destroy the entire earth if it has to, including you, okay? I speak on behalf of the Lord. Just kidding, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my lord, I don't speak on behalf of you, you speak for yourself. But speak through me, please. You guys probably think I'm crazy at this point. Well, that's okay. That's what this podcast is for. This podcast is for me to be crazy and for somebody to hear it and say, wow, this chick is actually crazy. But I'm not, because we're going to keep going on into this. So it's the so what was the abbreviation we were going to go with? Let's go with... I got to write it down so I could not keep forgetting. Okay, we were calling it World Bank Mafia. But that's what we like to call the social engineers, the World Bank Mafia. But their plan is let's call it the takeover, okay? The WBM has a plan which we're gonna call the takeover. The takeover is another word of calling N-W- blah 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 O. Sorry, I had to space those up. Okay, so yes, it is the implementation of the takeover. And how are they doing this? Well, they've been doing it for a while now through small things, but a big catalyst, and you guys may know where I'm going with this, but the biggest catalyst for this plan is the current health situation. And I will keep calling it that, the current health situation, which you guys know what I'm talking about. And if you already know this podcast, I refer to the jabs as fluoride serum. So we'll keep that vocabulary. The jabs are, if you know what jabs are, I'm pretty sure you get jabbed in your arm. You know where I'm going with that. We'll call it the fluoride serum. And, yeah, okay, so the catalyst that they're using to implement their plan of the takeover is the current health situation. And how are they doing this? Well, firstly, because there is a, in quotation marks, current health situation, we need to keep the people safe. This is them speaking, by the way. This is not me speaking. We need to keep the people safe, which means we need to implement certain laws and restrictions in order to keep the people safe. And despite whether or not, this is actually, sorry to cut this off, but this is actually a pretty trippy album, if you guys don't hear what's happening right now. So, because we need to keep the people safe, there needs to be laws and restrictions in place in order to keep us safe. And what are these laws and restrictions? Well, there can't be misinformation about what's happening. So how will we prevent misinformation from spreading to the people? Well, we will restrict what people post, first and foremost, on the internet, because that is the main way people all around the world communicate. So we will put restrictions on the information that goes out from people and the things that people say. We will create people who will be in charge of this. Let's call them fact checkers. Or what's another word of saying that? I feel like that's another trigger word. Let's say truth checkers. Okay, we'll give this job to these truth checkers to make sure that this misinformation does not spread, so that we can keep truthful information, which is only spread by our organizations, aka the World Health Organization and the, I don't even know what CDC stands for, and I'm pretty sure nobody else freaking does, or no, actually no, it's like Central Disease Control, I don't know, something stupid like that. Anyways, the freaking US government, I don't know, whoever the freaking these organizations are, that's who has the truthful information. No other information is truthful, and we need to make sure that that information doesn't get to the people, but only our information gets to the people. That is the first restriction, okay, guys? So that restriction is censorship. And where is this being taken place, and where is it increasing? We see it on social media. First and foremost, Instagram. Okay, Instagram is my main social media, so this is where I saw it first. There's there's now shadow banning. That is a thing where certain accounts are being hidden. They're not on the account side, on the person who owns the account, they can't see anything. They don't know what's happening. But on the outside, people can't even search their account. People can't see what they're posting. And that person may just happen to be spreading this, in quotation marks, misinformation. Okay? And we'll get into what this misinformation is in a second. So there's that. And then there's also the labeling that they're putting on anything that has the word fluoride serum in it, or what, I don't even know. Oh, the current health situation. If there's anything that has the word or the acronym for the current health situation, they put a label on that too. Like, here's information about this. Like, to make sure, like, no, this is the real information. You want to know why? Because we are Instagram. We are the official social media platform that has direct connection to the truth. So this is where you should be getting this information. Yes, you can see this post, but here's the real information about it. And then also there's the people can post, but it's blurred out and it says this may be false information. This is wrong information. And then you have to click on, and there's a button that says see why. And then you click on it, you can see the post, and then it says, like, let's say the post says, if you drink, I'm just doing an example, this isn't a fact or anything, if you drink 3 ginger shots a day, you will never get sick. Just, I'm not saying that's the truth, I'm just saying as an example. If a post says that in it, it will be blurred out and says this post may have false information. See why. You click see why, and it says something like, just drinking ginger blah blah does not prevent blah blah, and the current health situation is much more blah blah blah. Like, it will just downplay whatever is in that post and give you the truthful information. Okay, so that's another way they're doing that. The shadow banning, again, there's multiple, and this isn't something I'm making up, guys. There are multiple accounts that I follow on Instagram that spread esoteric knowledge, spiritual knowledge, holistic healing knowledge, okay? Ayurveda, acupuncture, vegan diets, raw vegan diets, any posts, any pages that I follow that spread these health kind of things and consciousness sort of things, their accounts are being shadow banned, and not only their accounts, but their posts. So for example, there's this one account that I follow, I believe it's called Light Consciousness, and this is now to get into the content that's being censored, okay? Because now it's getting to the point where they're almost censoring anything that doesn't even have to do with the current health situation, okay? This page that I follow, Light Consciousness, they posted a reel. It was either a reel or just a video, or an IGTV, I'm not too sure. It was a video. And it was showing how the flower of life works. Now, if you don't know what the flower of life is, look it up on Google. And not to stop what I was talking about that, but if you look up flower of life on Google, it calls it overlapping circles grid on Wikipedia. Like, that's the first thing that pops up. And then if you click Wikipedia, it tells you nothing on it. It just says, oh, this is an overlapping circles grid in geometry, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't tell you anything about the origins of the flower of life. It doesn't tell you. And then in small print, it says, like, in New Age spirituality, this is referred to as the flower of life. Like, in fine print, guys. And there's nothing, and even if you click on that, there's literally nothing, okay? And there's tons of research and proof and photos and information on the flower of life on the internet, but these are our main sources, in quotation marks, the ones that they provide us, which tell us nothing, okay? So that was just something I wanted to add in there, a part of the censorship that has nothing to do with even freaking Instagram, okay? That's also Google. Google's a giant part of this too. But that account, they posted a video of the flower of life and how it works, starting from a single circle, going into the seed of life, going into, I guess, the flower of life. Let's just go with that. And you couldn't even see that video on their profile. from the viewer's end. The owner of the account screenshotted their profile feed, which it shows on their side because they don't see anything. It says, do you guys see this most current post? Yes or no in the story. Everybody put no. I didn't even see it. Okay, I checked if you could see it, and you couldn't even see it. That, and it has nothing to do with the current health situation. Do you understand where I'm coming from? The flower of life, which is an ancient symbol that was used throughout history and tribes all over the world, that represents the unity between humanity. And they're blocking us from seeing that. Can you understand my frustration? It literally makes me want to cry because it's so real, guys. I'm not even lying. So anyways, that's one example, okay? Next is YouTube. YouTube restricts what we see. Videos, certain videos that people post, it fact checks it as well. And YouTube is now even going even further by banning certain accounts that post certain information that, according to them, may be misinformation. They are banning accounts. They are removing videos that seems like anything out of their truthful information. Next is Facebook. I don't go on Facebook at all. The only reason why I have a Facebook is so that I can have a business account on Instagram for my business, which is ridiculous. And I don't even want to go into Facebook because Facebook business literally sucks. And I could do I'd rather do a YouTube video on that so that Facebook could see it at least once and notice how crap they are. They probably know how crap they are, but they are. I don't know what happens on Facebook, but Facebook is probably way worse than anything else just because Mark Zuckerberg, I don't even know if that's the freaking guy of Facebook anymore. All the names are the same. They're all the same person to me at this point. They're all sellouts. And so I don't even know what happens on TikTok. I don't have a TikTok. And I'm pretty sure that's even worse too. I don't even want to know what's freaking going on over there in that world. But I do know that on things like this, the real misinformation, what I'm talking about, is the fake information that's going out that's trying to be passed as truthful information is what's being pushed. Not only that, but stupid things that don't even matter are being pushed. For example, on your Instagram feed, if you scroll through, there's a part of the feed that you're gonna see like a carousel of reels because they want you to watch reels. Even the main button in the middle of Instagram is to watch reels. I don't watch reels. There's like a carousel of suggested reels that you might be interested somewhere in the middle of your feed as you're scrolling down, right? The reels that they suggest to me are probably the most stupidest things ever. Okay, and I don't want to call them stupid, like what these girls are doing are stupid because that's what's popping up as girls. But it has nothing, like, why is that being suggested to me if there's nothing on my feed that has any sort of thing like that? The only accounts I follow are, again, like I said, freaking holistic healing pages, consciousness pages, things on spiritual knowledge, esoteric knowledge, holistic healing, like that is all I follow. And then like travel pages, art pages, things like that. I don't follow girls who take pictures of themselves and then like with different outfits on, and not to say that I'm not dissing that, I'm just saying I don't follow that. And so like that, but that's what it's suggesting to me. Suggested reels, and it's a bunch of girls who are like, I don't even know what it is. Like, what should I wear to school? And then it's like them standing there, and then like the reel is like their outfit keeps changing or something. And then other ones are them roller skating and like doing all this like things that I don't care about. It's nothing. And I posted it on my story and I said, why? And I didn't think I thought it was just me because they like, I'm a girl, so they want to show me other girls, things that other girls like, I don't know. So I posted it on my story and I just said, why does Instagram think I like this stuff? And I thought it was only me. And I can't even begin to explain how many people responded to that story, including guys. I mean, guys could be a little different because maybe guys like to look at girls on Instagram, but I'm pretty sure they don't like to watch that stuff. Like, the guys that follow me and that reacted, like, they're also into, like, follow a bunch of consciousness, a lot of Hindu pages, and things like that, like, knowledge, okay? And so many people, including girls, responded to the story saying, oh my gosh, me too. Well, they didn't say that word for word, but they were like, same, me too. I know, right? Things like that. And I was like, holy crap, I'm not the only one. Maybe this is all that Instagram is pushing on Reels, when I've seen there are Reels with real information on it. I've seen things that actually matter on Reels, but that's not what they're suggesting to us. They're suggesting we spend countless hours scrolling through things that don't even matter to distract ourselves. So, that's another thing. So there's the censorship on what we post and what we say. Oh, damn, this one got intense. Okay, wait. I kind of want to put some music on, guys. I'm sorry. Creepy Japanese music. Let's see what that is. Creepy Japanese music. All right, let's see what happens with this one. This is actually gonna be... Nah. We should play this from the beginning. All right, oh well. Okay. So there's that. There's the censorship on what we're saying, what we're posting, and it may not even be clearly obvious. I wouldn't doubt if I'm somehow being shadow banned. I don't think so, just because I avoid using trigger words and I don't post. Sometimes I do, on my story mostly, and it's me resharing things. It's not my post. Sometimes it's my post. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it at this point. And with my podcast too, that's why I try not to use certain words, because I would hate if this podcast gets censored. I wouldn't doubt if that's why some of my ratings have gone down. But I don't know if that has to do with the algorithm too, because that's also happening to other accounts where you can see a drastic change in their ratings. How they would get like this amount of views on something and then it drops by like 70% or something like that. I wouldn't doubt it. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're on to me, maybe they're not, maybe I'm being paranoid. I don't know. I'm not really going into that. I don't really care for that, but I'm trying to be careful with the things that I say, even though this episode is kind of a burn. But just because I want to make sure that information is getting to you guys, and I want to be able to speak to you. So, also, with that being said, let me cut in really quickly. Please get on my mailing list. If this podcast happens to get taken off the internet, if my entire existence gets to be taken off the internet, my Instagram gets deleted for whatever reason, anything, like they just freaking take me down, I highly doubt it, because they would have to take down a lot of other people before me. But just to say, if I have you guys on my mailing list, I can reach out to you and say, hey, they've taken down my things. I just wanted you to know. I'll try to be in contact so we can keep relaying information and keep information going. So please get on my mailing list. The easiest way to do that is to go on my Instagram, click the link in my bio. It's the 4th link in my bio. And if there was a weird sound jump, it's because I had a CPU spike and it stopped recording for a little bit. I'm glad I wasn't going on and on for a really long time until I discovered that. So I'm grateful that didn't happen. So it's the 4th link in my bio. It says join the quest. That is how you can join my mailing list. Another way is to go on my website, which is thewritingsofnatalia.com, and click join in the menu. That's also very simple. So you can do, those are the easiest ways. Okay, so getting on to the rest of the takeover. So that's the main thing that's happening right now is the censorship on social media, the censorship of information that is going out on the internet right now, due to these truth checkers and the in quotation marks, misinformation that have nothing to do with the current health situation. It has nothing to do with it, and it's obvious that it has nothing to do with it. Even, really quickly, even an art page that I follow, okay, they have nothing to do with the health situation, doesn't even post spiritual things at all, I swear. It's just art. And they're being shadow banned. So, it's just more and more censorship, and it's happening underneath our noses. So, that is the first thing that's happening. Second, we'll go into the fluoride serum. And how this is part of the takeover. So I'm not gonna say I know what is in the fluoride serum that has to do with our consciousness. I'm not speaking about health, what it does to us on a health end. First, I want to say the fluoride serum isn't even FDA approved. Not that I say I freaking bow down to the FDA, okay? Because they're another freaking organization. But for even that to be not FDA approved, come on, they could have just fake said it was FDA approved. They didn't even do that, which means there might be some sort of like, I don't know, maybe the FDA is like a little more truthful than these other organizations. Who knows? Because they could have easily just said FDA approved when it's not. So I don't know what happened there, but it's not even FDA approved. And so many people can tell me that, oh, you gotta trust the science, trust the science. These freaking people probably failed science in school at some point. Who majored in science that you're telling me to freaking trust the science? Who's the doctor here? And it could be a doctor telling me that too, that, oh, there's nothing that can harm you, blah, blah, all these ingredients. Okay, if you look up the ingredients of the fluoride serums, they're gonna give you about 10 at most ingredients, let's say, because I've read through them. I don't know what any of them are because they're super medical terms, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't either. You can go and look up each individual ingredient, but since those are the ingredients of the fluoride serum, there's gonna be not too much information on those ingredients just because they know that some people will research, and they wanna make sure that those people that research are also on board. So there may be some real misinformation in there as well. The side effects of it, okay? Yes, some people come out of it fine. That's fine. I'm talking about health side effects at the moment. There are people who have died after taking it, okay, guys? And I'm not saying this is gonna happen to everyone because compared to the population that has gotten the fluoride serum and has stayed alive compared to those who have died after getting it, obviously the people that died are very low, but the fact is that people died, okay? People are still dying from it, and they will continue to. There are huge side effects that people are having, the ones that are still alive. For example, my boyfriend just shared with me this freaking guy who was a pro fluoride serum passport person, right? He was super pro. I think he's I don't know if he works for the GOV or anything, or the WBM, World Bank Mafia. But he was very pro fluoride serum passport, and he got the fluoride serum, and then he freaking got Bell's palsy. He can't even move his face now. Literally, like, guys, come on. And this isn't the only guy, okay? This isn't the only guy. There are multiple people who are having symptoms. You can literally look at real people's stories deep within the internet. It's not going to be on the news. They're not going to advertise this to you, okay? Don't go on Fox News looking for people who have died or people who have side effects. They're not going to tell you, okay? Those are the biggest sellouts ever. All the news things, ABC, Fox, CNN, who the hell else talks? Freaking PBS, freaking, I don't even know. Everybody, down with them. So, yes, that's what's happening. There's the health symptoms, there's people dying, of course. That is a huge part of it. And then there's a huge part of people that feel completely fine. But maybe they don't feel completely fine, but they're ignoring certain things that are happening. Who knows? I don't know because I have not gotten it, and I don't plan on freaking getting it. So there's that. Now, let's talk about spiritual health and consciousness. Now, that's where I was starting off by saying I don't know what it's going to do to our consciousness. And initially, before the whole freaking, all of this even happened, or when I first heard about the fluoride serums and how they're like, oh, it's okay, there's a fluoride serum coming out. Now all we just have to do is get it and everything will be fine, right? Once I heard about the fluoride serum, immediately in my head, I'm like, oh, no, that's what this was. Because even in the beginning, when the current health situation started, when it was, I don't want to say very small, but when it was happening only in China and everything was still practically normal, in quotation marks, in the US and the rest of the world, and it was mainly happening in China, and I was watching it happen on the news, I I didn't think about it, but I kind of thought about it. And then when it started getting bigger and when it hit everywhere and when we locked down specifically, as soon as we locked down, I went into survival mode. I'm pretty sure almost everybody did. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, in some places they did implement martial law, okay? We're practically martial law freaking now, okay? But during this time, there were military in the streets making sure that people did not go outside. It was like freaking Nazi Germany, okay? When that first happened, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the beginning of it. And I wasn't freaking lying, okay? It was the beginning of it. It is the beginning of it. And I thought that it was gonna be completely over from there. The friggin' world is gonna, the whole society and everything was gonna collapse, and we're gonna have to like be like the movie The Road or any post-apocalyptic movie or book that you've read. I thought that's how it was gonna be, and it didn't end up like that. It still has very much has the potential to end up like that, but anyways, when that happened, I thought that that was the end of it, and then when I heard about the vaccine, oh man, we're busted. I'm talking too fast, that's why I get caught up. I don't even want to use the freaking trigger word now, because then they're gonna know my trigger word, and then they're gonna mark it, or I don't know, maybe I'm being paranoid. Man, you have to be these days, okay? When I heard about the freaking serum, then I was like, oh, this is why they did this. This is why it happened, so that we can get the fluoride serum, right? And, so yes. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, this is the reason why. So initially I'm just like, no way. They did this on purpose so that we can do this. And throughout the years, since I've heard about the corruption and became aware of the corruption and the, what's the word I want to say? And the focus that they have on keeping us asleep to what they're doing, and not only to what they're doing, but to our truest nature. They want to keep us asleep from who we really are, who we truly are, which is God itself. I know that they want us to stay asleep. That's why there's the whole thing that people are awake, there's people who are asleep, blah, blah, blah. Watch the movie They Live if you need to know what I'm talking about. There is a focus to keep us asleep. And ever since that, I think that every single thing they do is to make sure that we stay asleep. So when I heard about the fluoride serum, I'm just like, no, there's no way. It's a way to control us, basically. And if you haven't already, there's tons of experiments on control and mind control. MK Ultra being one of them. I don't know if that's a trigger word. If it is, what up? F you. I'm not gonna curse on here, so I'm gonna keep it PG-13. PG-13. And yeah, so it was just a no-go. So I thought, okay, well, this is probably another way to keep us asleep, especially if it's going into our body as a chemical. And of course, that's gonna be neurological, okay? There's gonna be something there that's not gonna allow us to understand things beyond this material perception. I'm pretty sure. So when I heard this, I'm like, there's no way, okay? There's no way. And I want to share a post with you. If you don't follow me on Instagram and haven't seen it already, I posted this on my story, and it is a quote by Rudolf Steiner. And he said this in 1861. Oh, he didn't say this in 1861. His years of life, he was born in 1861 and he died in 1925, okay? And what he said is, he wrote this, he said, in the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine. Under the pretext of a healthy point of view, there will be a fluoride serum. The word that, he said the word that I'm replacing with fluoride serum. There will be a fluoride serum by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of the soul and spirit. The materialistic doctors will be entrusted the task of removing the soul of humanity. As today, people are fluoride serumed up against this disease or that disease, so that in the future, children will be fluoride serumed up with a substance that can be produced precisely in such a way that people, thanks to this fluoride serum, will be immune to being subjected to the madness of spiritual life. He would be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience, and that is the true goal of some materialistic circles. With such a fluoride serum, you can easily make the etheric body loose in the physical body. Once the etheric body is detached, the relationship between the universe and the etheric body would become extremely unstable, and man would become an automation. For the physical body of man must be polished on this earth by spiritual will. So the fluoride serum becomes a kind of Armanic? Is that the word? Armanic force. So the fluoride serum becomes a kind of Armanic force. Man can no longer get rid of a given materialistic feeling. He becomes materialistic of constitution and can no longer rise to the spiritual, okay? And his lifetime was between 1861 and 1925, guys. Do you hear this? So, I can't say I know specifically how, but I know that there is something in there that has to do with our consciousness, guys. And I'm pretty sure it's going to stop the evolution of our consciousness. The stopping of free thought. It may slow us down. It may not be able to see past the physical realm to think anything of our soul or spirit. They may remove those things from our vocabulary in due time. They may remove videos and photos and proof. They may destroy these ancient ruins that have the spirit, the flower of life on it. They may destroy the pyramids, the hieroglyphs. They may destroy all past proof of consciousness, of spirituality. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying they may. I don't know. Okay, I can't tell the freaking future. But I think that this fluoride serum is a really big part of that, to keep us asleep and to keep us unaware of what's actually happening and to keep us slaves. There's that, okay? Now, the current revolution, getting onto that as the main thing. What is the current revolution? The current revolution is the people standing up to this. Not only, it doesn't have anything to do with with spiritual awakening or anything like. Take away the spirituality out of it. Take away consciousness from it, okay? We're speaking human rights, the censorship, the forced fluoride serum. They're saying it's not being forced. It's not required, but we highly suggest it. And we're gonna take away the rights of those who do not get it for the sake of the safety of others. That's not constitutional, okay? Especially in America, first and foremost, but other countries have reflected their constitution off of ours. And our founding fathers, okay, not to get into the building of America, but the founding fathers would be turning in their graves right now, I swear. Because this country was built to get away from this tyranny. It was built to get away from what is happening now, because it was happening where they were. So they founded new land to make sure that it didn't happen in the new land, and that's why they created the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. To make sure that this doesn't happen. And they are trying to rewrite that. So, the current revolution is people all over the world standing up for true human rights. Now, when I say human rights, I'm not talking about what's written on the internet or what's written in the Constitution or anybody's government paperwork or anything like that. Our human rights, our true human rights, are the human rights that we were born with. that the universe gifted us, that God gifted us, okay? And one of those being free will. We literally have the free will to do anything. This is a universal law. There's plenty of universal laws. We can speak, I can say whatever I want, I could do this, blah, blah, blah. If I were in other countries, maybe I couldn't because of their government laws, but when I'm talking about human laws, I was born with the ability to, that is human rights. I have the right to speak. I have the right to choose. I have the right to choose left. I have the right to choose right. I have the right to choose what goes into my body. I have the choice to choose what I eat, to choose what I drink, to choose what I say, think, act, do. Okay, I have that right. I have that human right because I was born with it. I was born with the ability. If you were born with the ability to, then that is your natural right because it is what you were born with naturally. This is what I mean by human rights. We have the right, naturally, by law, by universal law, by God's freaking will. We have the right to choose. We have the right to speak. We have the right to act, to feel, to be what we want to be. And these rights are being threatened by the WBM, World Bank, Mafia, World, hence the word world. It's not the US government. It's not the UK government. It's not specific ones. They're creating the takeover, which is the new blah, 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 working, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying random words right now. World, random words, books, teaching, blah, blah, blah. Order, world, hence the word world. New, blah, 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 blah. I'm doing weird noises. World, okay? And it is a one world mafia. One world. One government. That is the plan. And it's not specific countries that are being threatened. It's the entire world and human rights, true human rights that we were gifted with at birth. Now, some countries may have not had this liberty to exercise these laws because they live in countries that they're restricted to begin with. Unlike America, where we have this Constitution's declaration to have freedom of speech, to have freedom of religion and choice. But these are natural human rights, and those are being threatened by, they're not forcing it on us, but they're taking away our rights if we don't do what they want to do. And what rights are those? We're not gonna have people who decide not to do what they want us to do. They're not gonna allow us to basically do anything. There's a list of all the things in New York that you can't do or go to. A whole list. You can't go into any indoor places, basically. You can't go to any events. You can't group up in large groups. You basically can't do anything. The only thing that they're letting us keep is the ability, so far, have they said, for necessary things like medicine and food. So they're not saying that they're gonna stop us from going into supermarkets, but I'm sure soon they're gonna implement some sort of outdoor food bank, where there's like people in tents and they give us specific food, and I bet you it's freaking like Coca-Cola and McDonald's and crap food, I'm sure. Maybe, who knows? I don't even know. But it's starting off like that. And not speaking about America, but in other countries like Paris, for example, London, it's forced. They are making every single citizen get the fluoride serum, and there have been protests on it. Now, to bring back in the censorship, there have been millions of people flooding the streets protesting against this mandate because it's against human rights. They're taking away human rights, and there are people protesting on it, and there's no coverage of it whatsoever on social media. You can type in, during the time that this was happening, I don't know if it's still going on, but you can type in #Paris and you won't see anything on it. Even though there's dozens of videos and proof of people protesting in Paris, you won't see it on #Paris. You won't see it on #Paris protest is probably censored. Okay, anything that has to do with that, they're not covering it. They're not, but millions of people are flooding the streets protesting it. Italy is the next one. They're protesting against it. The police, I posted on my story, the police decided to walk with the people because even the police are against it. In here, America, there are doctors. They're forcing doctors to get it because of they work with people, right? And there are doctors who want to be able to have the choice to not get the fluoride serum, and they're not, their entire livelihood, their career is on the line. They're telling them they can't have their career that they freaking went to school for years for. They got their doctorate's degree to become a doctor. All these years of school, and that's being taken away from them. Their career, their patience, their job, their livelihoods are being taken away from them because they choose to not put one thing in their body. And there are doctors here protesting it because it's not right. A doctor said they were literally just calling us healthcare heroes. Now they're firing us because we choose to have the choice. Think about abortion, guys, okay? Abortion is different in different states in America, but my personal opinion is that women should have the right if they want to abort the child, okay? I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying we should have the ability to choose because by natural law, we have the ability to choose whatever we want. That's free will. So women should have the right to choose whether or not they want to abort the baby. They should have the right. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong that they do that, but I'm saying that they should have the right to be able to do that. And it's the same exact concept. If I worked a job and say I got pregnant and my boss wanted me to abort the baby and I wanted to keep the baby, and they tell me, well, you need to abort the baby or you're fired, then I'm literally what? I'm gonna give up my child for this job? It's the same exact concept. It's the same exact concept. Don't try to fight me on that, it is. Okay? Now, this is a current revolution because people are standing up to it. Our human rights are being threatened, and there are people standing up to it, and I need you guys to see what is happening so that we can stand up to it, okay? If you care about your rights to speak out, to say anything you want, to share what you want, to live in peace by your freaking self, to do whatever you want. If you want to have the ability to choose, that is your human right, and you should fight for that. Now, I mentioned briefly in last week's episode about this 60-year cycle where a revolution happens every time. And if you want to know more details about this 60-year cycle, I suggest listening to the Know Thyself podcast. The episode is called 2020, The Awakening. It's one of their earlier episodes, so if you scroll to the beginning of when they first started posting episodes, go to episode 2020, The Awakening. They talk in detail about the 60-year cycles. There was the Industrial Revolution. There was, hold on, I'm looking up, let's see, the past revolutions. There was the Renaissance. Let's see, past revolutions in the world. The French Revolution, the English Revolution, the American Revolution, the Russian Revolution, the Industrial Revolution. There was the freaking hippie movement. I don't even know what you call it. The hippie movement in the 60s. That was a revolution. There was the Enlightenment. I think that's what it was called, the Enlightenment Revolution. They talk definitely way more in detail about it in that episode if you want to know. But basically, every 60 years, there is a cycle that ends, and during that time, there is an uprising. There's a revolution that usually happens because something is going on, right? 2020 was the beginning of that new cycle, which means that was the year to begin the new revolution. And what happened in 2020? We were shut inside of our houses. We were told not to go outside. Therefore, we couldn't group up. We couldn't start a revolution. We could barely communicate with each other. The only way we had to communicate was through the internet, which they are censoring. Okay, so they're censoring who we come in contact in person and even on the internet so that we do not group up and start this revolution. They know about the 60-year cycles. It's obvious. If you look back in history at the timeline, it's so obvious. And they know that. There's 10 steps ahead of us, guys. Believe it or freaking not, okay? So that is the current revolution. It is happening now, whether they like it or not, because it is natural law. If it's not like every 60 years, they're like, oh, 60 years is up, time to have a revolution. That's not how it's happening. On their end, they're saying, oh, it's been 60 years. It's time for another revolution. Another revolution is gonna happen. How can we prevent the people from waking up even more and trying to stand against us? Now, not to say that there weren't protests going on in 2020, because there was, but those protests, and you know what I'm talking about, mainly in America because of events that had happened in the Black community. And I don't like to say the Black community because it's freaking, but they consider themselves their own community, so that's what I will refer to it as. There were things that happened within there that started these protests, but that was very controlled. Who was the main controller of it? It was an organization called Black Lives Matter. And you can tell me all you want who the founding followers of the Black Lives Matter movement, blah, blah. It is an organization. It is patented, whatever you want to say. And it is controlled, okay? And there's a lot of misinformation that goes out through there. And there's a lot of misinformation that is being engraved in that community's mind to create further division. So yes, there were protests, yes, there was an uprising, but it was controlled. And that is only a small part of the bigger thing that is happening, and it is happening now. It started happening already last year, and it's going to continue happening, because there's no way that this is gonna continue. Yes, it may continue, and it may get a little worse, but hopefully when it gets worse, people who are asleep at the moment will actually see it getting worse, and they will start to do something about it, so we have more people on our side to stand against the tyranny. Okay, so that is the current revolution. We are being censored. We are being told what to do. Our human rights are being taken from us, and it's not okay. It's not okay. And I need you guys to see that, and I need you to see your own personal rights being threatened. And even if it doesn't happen in this lifetime, if nobody does anything about it, it's gonna happen in your children's lifetime. And what's gonna happen then? When you're old, you're not gonna be able to do anything. Your kids are gonna have to take care of you. Ooh, I'm getting weird tinnitus right now. Whew. Is that even how you say it? I felt like I just freaking drifted off into a new realm. That was super intense, probably the most intense I've ever had. Okay, well, that is it. That is it. I'm gonna end this episode here, and yes, sorry, I'm a little thrown off now. So that's what's happening, guys. Check out that episode 2020, The Awakening, from the Know Thyself podcast. Check out that podcast in general. It's a freaking amazing podcast. I listen to it every day on my way to work and on my way home from work. And I will, guys, manifest it. I want these two guys on the podcast so we can just kind of go at it. They are fantastic, and I love it. I love the podcast. I love them. And you guys got to see what's happening here. You got to be with me on this. If you agree with me, if you see what's happening, reach out to me. DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is Natalia of Earth. You can email me. My email is natalialee@thewritingsofnatalia.com. I just gotta know somebody is here with me. And there's people on my Instagram that respond to my stories and my posts, and I know that they're here with me, but some of you listeners don't interact with me on social media. You guys just listen to the podcast, and I see you. But I need to know you're on board too, guys. And I'm not saying, like, come on, we're starting something up, jump on board, join us. I'm not saying that at all, okay? I'm not trying to start something here. What I'm saying is that it already started. It's not me who started it. It's something that's happening naturally. And whether you like it or not, you're a part of it. You can either be a slave to the system and agree with everything that the media tells you and go along with it and be a herd, be a part of the herd, or you can be a free thinker. You can choose to not believe everything that you're being told by the media, by the social engineers. If you don't know what social engineering is, please look it up. I could do a whole episode on that too. But please look it up. And yes, it is already happening. And at this point, there are sides. There's the side of humanity. And I'm not speaking about like anti-fluoride serum groups or anything. I'm not talking about any certain group or any certain opinion. I'm talking about the protection of human rights, natural human rights. There's that side, and then there's the side that decides not to do anything and just listen to and do what they're told. So that's it. That's the current revolution, guys. I hope I have enlightened you in some way of what's happening. I'm not even gonna begin to go on to what's happening in Afghanistan right now, guys. If you don't know, look up what's happening in Afghanistan and look why it happened. Look why it happened, and look where the US plays the role in this. And you guys want me to vote? I'm not talking about you guys, but when voting time comes, they're like, oh, well, we gotta get Trump out of office or whatever. I don't care who the hell is in office. He could be freaking, I don't care if it's I don't know. I can't even think of freaking somebody. I don't care who's in office. I don't want any of them, okay? I don't care. They're all fake. The biggest puppet is the one who's freaking standing at the podium right now, okay? Look at him. He has freaking strokes mid-speech. He doesn't even know what he's saying. Have you even heard some of the things that he says? It doesn't even make sense. He's freaking old. He's done. He's done for, okay? I don't even know what that guy is. Like an MK. He's spazzing out. He's an old body that has been controlled for too long and keeps glitching out. Okay, that's it. That's all I have to say for this episode. The background music was okay, guys. It got a little trippy in the beginning. But yeah, I am extremely grateful for you for being here, for hearing me out, for listening, and for thinking for yourself, for being able to understand these things, to be able to see beyond the veil, to be able to hear something that is not all the noise that is being forced inside of your ears. Okay, that is it. I'm done here. Thank you for tuning in this week. This has been another episode of ThirdEyeCyphs. I will talk to you guys next week, and if you want to see more of the work that I do, I am a creator of many kinds. I am an artist. I am a writer. I am a spiritual advisor, and I hate to say I am, because that is not who I truly am, okay? Those are the things that I do. I can guide you on your spiritual path. If you just started your spiritual path, I can catalyst that for you, or be the catalyst for you. I can be that help question mark in the corner of your box when you don't know what to do next. You just click the little help button, and then that's me telling you what to do next, to further progress you on your journey, on your quest to self-realization, to attaining God consciousness, to waking the hell up. Okay, so check me out, guys. My Instagram is Natalia of Earth. If you're interested in my business, my company, it is called The Writings of Natalia, and I have so much planned, especially for the future with these new restrictions that may be in place. I'm going to provide people things that don't have restrictions on it, because that is our freaking right. So stay tuned for that. Follow The Writings of Natalia on Instagram. Check out my website. It's thewritingsofnatalia.com. And that is it. I will see you next week, guys. Thank you again. Peace.
Hari Om. This episode has been brought to you by the writings of Natalia.com. Jai Ma.